Welcome to the Introvert Sisters, the podcast by introverts for introverts, hosted by Sharon and Lisa, two INFJs with a lot to say.
Hi, I'm Sharon.
And I'm Lisa.
And together,
we're the Introvert Sisters.
Welcome back to our podcast.
Welcome, guys. So, Awagwan. every now and then I hit you with that and you're like, what is happening right now?
Going back to your Jamaican roots, right?
Going back to my Jamaican roots. So yeah, just, wondering what's happening, what's going on in your world, this is our first segment. It's called Introverts Uniting Separately because we're in two different places. We're introverts and we're uniting separately. It's what we do. So tell me what's happening. I mean, I know that we've, we're getting into our season 2.
Yes.
Which is great. We're proud that we're keeping all of that going.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
Those of you who have been following us and listening in know that introversion and Black issues and anti-racism are at the heart of what we do.
This is true.
And in fact, Sharon has written some more articles in her Wild Black series. There's Business Travel Wild Black, The Loneliness of Being the Sole Black Employee, Pardon Your Bias is Showing. That's a whole series. It's wonderful. You guys should get into it. So, and actually last season we had done an episode called Introverting While Black.
That is true.
Right. So again, introversion, blackness, introversion. We talk about it all the time.
Because it's an integral part of who we are.
It is. They both are. And we can't sort of separate either aspect from who we are. And so at the bizarre and tragic confluence of those two worlds is the case of Elijah McClain, who I'm sure you have heard about, sis, like we all have. And I guess this is supposed to be the catch-up section, but that's so on my mind right now. It's been gosh. Yes. It's just horrible. In our world. I guess we can jump right into that segment.
Let's just jump into it. In our world, as introverts and Black people, we just want to be left alone to live our lives. We have often said on the show, just let introverts live. And we never thought about how those words would come to resonate, especially in the case of Elijah McClain, right?
Wow.
Because on August the 24th, 2019, for those who don't already know, Elijah McClain was walking home from his neighborhood convenience store when he was stopped by the police because he looked suspicious.
Crazy.
And his last words.
Yeah, dude. Are you okay to read them? Are you okay to read them? No, it's up to you. I know it's hard, so.
Okay, his last words. I can't breathe. I have my ID right here. My name is Elijah McClain. That's my house. I was just going home. I'm an introvert. Please respect the boundaries that I'm speaking. I'm just different, that's all. I'm sorry. I have no gun. I don't do that stuff. I don't do any fighting. Why are you attacking me? I don't even kill flies. I don't eat meat. But I don't judge people. I don't judge people who do eat meat. Forgive me. All I was trying to do was become better. I will do it. I will do anything. Sacrifice my identity. I'll do it. You all are phenomenal. You are beautiful and I love you. Try to forgive me. I'm a mood Gemini. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Ow, that really hurt. You are all very strong. Teamwork makes the dream work. And then he was crying and he said, oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to do that. I just can't breathe correctly. Powerful and poignant words. Powerful and poignant words.
Wow, I just so much to unpack, and I don't know if we can unpack it all, but I guess this would still have struck us. Anybody with a heart would be moved by this, but because he specifically said, I'm an introvert, I'm just different, that's all. I'm so sorry. Of course, that hit us really, really, really hard. And I guess what strikes me most is that he wasn't introvert, like literally the most peaceful person. And let me just say this, nobody deserves to be just killed willy-nilly. So I know that every time, the police murder, because that's what it is.
Yes.
Murder an African-American person, black or brown person, all of a sudden that person's past is trotted out, or in some cases embellished to make it seem like they're some kind of monster.
And can I just interrupt you here, sis, to say that it's very interesting, the difference, okay? Mm-hmm. I still can't get over the fact that the police took Dylan Roof for Burger King, right? Someone who had actually shot people rather than being suspected of it, okay? I still can't get over the fact that many young white criminals of the same age, the emphasis is, oh, they have so much potential, let's not ruin it. Yes. Whereas with young Black and Indigenous people of color, it's all about, oh, here's one wrong thing they may have done in the past, let's throw it away. They got what was coming to them. I just cannot get over the disparity in those two approaches. But anyway, you were saying
it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It is inhumane. It is unjust. And I guess digging into this case, you realize, okay, he was 23, and he was such a sweet person. Like, he literally used to go to animal shelters to play violin for the shelter animals on his lunch break.
Wow.
That's how sweet and good of a person he was, because he thought, the cats, I think it was a cat shelter.
Yeah.
Could be wrong. But he thought that they were lonely and he wanted to make them feel better. And so he would go and play them music to comfort them on his lunch break. And this person, filled with so much light, is who they felt okay to just snuff out, like he did not matter.
Yes.
And
it's heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. And what also struck me is that, as you said at the beginning, this happened in August of 2019. So basically almost a year ago. Mm-hmm. We are only now hearing about it, the public.
Yes.
And we've said this before. It's like, okay, all of the names who have, and people, not names because they are people, mm-hmm. the people who have unfortunately become hashtags and become movements and become drivers of movements, the Breonna Taylors and George Floyds, yes. of the world, that have now moved on to another world because they were murdered. Let's be clear.
They were murdered.
Right?
They were murdered.
They were very, very murdered. Very, very, very definitely murdered. So yeah. I know people try to find nicer ways of phrasing it and, say they lost their life. Their lives are not lost. They weren't like walking and then
they were taken.
Oops, my life got lost. That's not what happened.
No, they were taken. They were murdered.
Their lives were brutally taken.
When it comes to, African American men, it's like the reaping, man.
It is the reaping. But it makes me wonder, like, were it not for George Floyd and what happened in his case, because his case definitely sort of lit a fire, in some cases literally, under the movement.
Yes.
Right?
Well,
but it does make me wonder, well, if not for George Floyd, would we even have heard about this case? Because clearly it had been buried.
Clearly it had. And there are a lot of them. So because what struck me the most, I don't live in the US, but every mm-hmm. time another Black person is murdered, we say again murdered, it strikes mm-hmm. a note in my heart. Mm-hmm. A lot of people wonder, why I'm here sitting in Barbados caring about this, but remember, as I think we've said in the past, and we'll no doubt say again, that we share a history of slavery.
Yes.
Or enslavement, in fact, is what it was. You know,
Yes.
let's get the terminology right.
Let's get the terminology right. Language is powerful.
Language is powerful, right? And you know, we have friends, relatives, you know, who live in the US and who are affected by this kind of thing daily. I mean, my sister is one example, but you know, we have at least 2 direct cousins,
Oh,
just
yeah.
to give you an example, right? That is very common in the Caribbean.
Or actually, I remember our dad when he first moved here, you know, to live. And, you know, people were always telling him, can you please drive a little more slowly? Can you drive more slowly? If you go to this or that neighborhood, can you please be careful? And, you know, he would initially be, at first he was like a little irritated because he didn't understand that, okay, people are literally trying to save your life by telling you this. They're not trying to control you.
Yes.
They're trying to help you survive. And that, of course, is decades ago, and we're still here. We are still here.
So one of the stats that struck me about this during the George Floyd protests was that during the first few weeks of the protests, it appears that another 120 African American people were killed.
Wow.
Right? We don't even know all their names. This thing is endemic. It has to stop.
It has
and
to
as
stop.
You were saying, you know, there are so many names that we don't hear till the cases come back around. I mean, some of the cases we know,
the ones that we know about.
Yeah, we're talking about George Floyd, we're talking about Breonna Taylor, we're now talking about Elijah McClain, but there are hundreds.
Honestly,
maybe
there are
even
probably thousands. There are
people
probably
that we
thousands.
never hear about. So I really want to know, what is it going to take for existing while Black not to be a crime? Why are people weaponizing whiteness? I'm talking to you, the Karens of the world. Okay?
Yes, please explain yourself.
Because let me tell you, you know that when you call the police on a Black person, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know it can end in death.
They know, and they are okay with it, because that's a thing that people don't often say. It's not only that, well, then they know that if A then B, if they call the police, B will likely be the result, but also C, they are okay with a Black person being murdered because the Black person, for example, told them, please put your leash on a dog.
Exactly.
They're okay with that. Totally okay. And so,
they're okay with a Black person being carted away for chalking Black Lives Matter on his own front yard.
Right.
Okay. Right.
Ooh, the Karens are busy. The Karens are busy. And I suppose, you know, I guess I have never really understood. I don't like people that much anyway, as you well know, right? And so I try to just minimize my contact and keep my circle small. I don't have time or the energy or the interest to be going and digging in other people's business, looking out my front window to see what neighbor is doing what and to report them. And I cannot get into the mindset that who are these people that have this time and this energy and this mindset to be doing this? I confess, I see it. I know it happens.
But you don't understand it, right?
I don't understand it, and I never will.
No.
I don't think I ever will.
No. And you know, I mean, history is a powerful thing. You know, why is it that you can be living next door to somebody and they see the color of your skin and assume you don't have any right to be there? Why are we still talking about this in 2020? Why are we still having to deal with this in 2020? You know, I do remember, actually, now thinking about that, I remember, I mean, I tell the story in one of my articles, I think, about how...
We can link to it.
Yes, about how one of the people on an interview panel asked me why I didn't want to write for a Black paper. But what I have not said is that I do remember being asked by somebody, I can't remember in what context, one of my work colleagues, something like that, why I hadn't chosen to live in a Black area.
Oh boy.
The fact that there's such a thing as a Black area, I mean, well, you know, there's that. But
can't solve all the problems right now. But yes,
we
that
can't
is
solve
an
all-
issue.
You know, this de facto segregation that still goes on, you know, that's what we need to move past. It is way past time that we ended apartheid and segregation. We think they've ended, but they really haven't ended,
They have not ended.
right?
They
And then
are still rampant.
until they end, even an introvert like Elijah McClain doing something completely innocuous that any other white man his age could have done, until that ends, people like him are always going to be in danger. People who are a little bit different, people who don't respond in the way that you would expect. I mean, I remember also because, you know, people with breathing difficulties wear masks. And now we're all supposed to be wearing masks. But, you know, as a young Black man going out wearing a mask in America, I would be afraid. I tell no lies.
I tried explaining that to somebody. This was a few weeks ago. This was before, well, several weeks ago now, before the George Floyd case. And I remember trying to explain, look, people of color here in the States, yes, you want to wear masks. And there had been a recommendation by somebody, you know, not of color, who was clueless, or just wear a bandana. You know, wear a red band, and I was like, are they like joking? Or are they serious? They literally. I'm like, y'all are going down. This is like Crips and Bloods. Like, you can't just wear a red bandana as a Black person over here.
Oh my gosh!
Forget it, because
Multiple reasons why that is a terrible idea.
They're going to assume that you're in a gang.
Yeah.
And there's already warfare out on Black lives, and they are not even going to ask a question.
No.
They would shoot you from a distance.
Mow you down.
Mow you down.
Right.
You know, and so there's sensitivity around that.
Yes. You know, all this going into public spaces and so on, you know, yeah, you try walking into your bank in a mask as a Black person. Just see what happens. You think you're going to get past the security guard at the door? I doubt it.
No.
Online banking, people, use it.
Right? I mean,
Stay
I
safe,
spend,
stay
and I
indoors,
guess.
go online.
Say that again?
Stay safe, stay indoors, go online.
I mean, I spend a lot of time, and I assume every Black person basically spends a lot of time thinking about how to come across as not just palatable, but safe and non-threatening.
Inoffensive.
Non-offensive to the outside world, just so that you don't attract attention and thereby possibly attract a bullet.
Exactly. You know, job number one, don't attract attention. You know, that is where it starts. I was saying the same thing actually in the, you know, when I was talking about business travel, which you and I had a brief conversation about, that, you know, I see people, you know, non-people of color out in their scruffy jeans and holy t-shirts, putting their feet every which way, you know, mouthing off to people. As a Black woman, that will never be me. I'm going to be dressed, you know, like, you know, I'm going to be dressed, how should I say, how did I put it for you? You know, you used to dress like you had money, right?
Dress like you have money, but not too much money.
But not too much money. Because you don't want, you know, you don't want them to think that you stole it.
Exactly.
But you don't want them to think you have nothing either. You know, it's a balancing act. You know,
they have to look at you and know that if anything pops off, you can hire a lawyer.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if they think you can't hire a lawyer, they're coming for you hard.
Being Black is often like walking a tripwire, man.
It really is.
No, walking a tightrope. Walking a tightrope.
It really is. It really is.
You know, it's
walking several at the same time, actually.
Yes, or sometimes picking your way through a minefield.
Yeah.
In the worst case scenario.
Exactly.
You know. No disrespect to people who have actually had to do that, but we're talking, you know, emotional, and also just a safety issue.
Well,
you know?
it's emotional. It's emotionally taxing, but literally, you could lose your life. And this
You
is
could,
what, this is
yes,
what,
yes, exactly.
that's the key thing.
You could lose your life. People do all the time.
Yes, yes.
The sad thing is that, even while we're recording this and we're talking about Elijah McClain, somewhere in America, some young Black man is probably in danger already, or some young Black woman. That is a
And
reality.
there's also been the rash. I mean, don't tell me this is not outright war. There's two other things that have been going on. One is the nightly fireworks. I don't know if you've heard about this.
Yes.
But it happens right here in my neighborhood. And I think the first time it happened, I want to say it was around Memorial Day. I'm not 100% sure. And so initially I thought, okay, the Patriots are excited, fine,
Yeah.
But it continued, and it's almost every night. It's sometime between 8 and 10, and it's in neighborhoods, especially Black and brown neighborhoods around the country. So I don't know what kind of warfare is going on, but that is some kind of warfare, because it was not happening before. It has never happened in previous years, but now all of a sudden the George Floyd thing has happened. Now all of a sudden police are feeling threatened, as well they should, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now I feel like it's some kind of retaliation thing. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. That's one. The second one is, sorry, go ahead.
No, carry on. I'm just thinking about it.
The second one is the hangings.
Yes.
You've heard about those, right?
I've heard about the lynchings.
The lynchings. Well, that's what they use, the right word, lynchings.
The nooses being left for Black people to find.
What was his name? What's his name, Bubba? Is that his name in NASCAR?
Yes. Apparently, it wasn't really a noose, but whatever.
Did you see a picture of it though?
It was a noose.
It's a noose, right? B, they're saying, okay, well, it was already in this garage when he took it over. I'm like, okay, so who was the previous occupant, right? That's number one. And when you cleaned it out, whoever did that, why did you think it was appropriate to leave it? A. B, apparently it was for pulling down a garage door. You're a NASCAR. You are NASCAR with billions of dollars. You don't have a little clicker, right?
Okay.
I have one right here. I have one right here on my house.
Yeah. That one did not fly with me.
We cry foul, we cry BS.
Oh my gosh! But yes, it's
I keep calling them hangings, the lynchings.
Yes.
Because again, that's all part of, and that also started around the time that the nightly fireworks, and these are not, let me just explain, these are not fireworks, not the beautiful Macy's Parade fireworks, because if you're in your house and you hear them, it sounds like gunshots.
Of course.
Just to be clear.
Of course.
Right?
Yes. And then when it comes to the lynchings, I'm sorry, no Black person is going to go and climb up a tree to hang themselves, right? The associations are too rough already.
No, look.
Okay.
Now, not to, trigger warning, right? Yeah. But I would find it hard to think that somebody who is considering basically suicide, because that's what they're saying it is. They're considering suicide, right? Mm-hmm. And my belief is that suicide tends, in general, tends to be a private affair, shall we say. Mm-hmm. And so people tend to hide themselves away. They do it often when, they know, or make an attempt or do it when they know nobody will be around. Mm-hmm. And so nobody is like, okay, let me go to the town square.
No.
And for the central tree and hang myself because I want to commit suicide. Nobody is thinking that.
That's very, so I don't buy it.
No, it's ridiculous. That's just the spin that putting on it so that they don't have to deal with the reality.
Yeah. And so here we are.
But this is why we are going to continue talking about this, because it's so disturbing, and obviously it's not going to be every episode, but we are paying attention. We are doing what little bit we can. And I think that's important to mention as well. Kind of a side note. We might have even mentioned this in
the last episode.
The last one, or even one in the the previous season. But
who knows?
Point being, it bears repeating. Everybody can't protest or contribute in the same way. And so stop expecting everyone to be boots on the ground, getting rubber bullets shot at them.
No.
Everybody cannot do that.
But if you have a platform of any kind, and you can use that to amplify some voices of people who are doing the work, to share issues, to highlight issues, then, that's all a contribution. That all helps keep people's attention on these important issues. That keeps the pressure on. And so we're going to be doing that from time to time in this podcast.
Just checking in, doing a touch base to see, okay, where are we? What progress we humanity, what progress has been made? What changes have been made, and what else can we do to contribute?
Absolutely.
Because as you said so rightly towards the beginning of the episode, sis, this is part of our identity.
Yes.
We cannot separate ourselves from Blackness. And mind you, I mean, we're fabulous. Not that we would want to.
It's not that we want to.
We do not want to.
But these issues hit us hard, and so we're going to talk about them, and we're going to
talk about them.
We can.
Yeah. So.
And that seems like a great place to wrap up this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for joining us again.
Thanks, guys.
And we'll see you next time.
All right. Fight the power.
You've been listening to the Introvert Sisters. Loved what you heard? You can catch all our episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and all other major platforms. Subscribe, rate, and write a review. Find us online at theintrovertsisters.com and follow us on Instagram and Facebook at The Introvert Sisters. See you next time. Peace.